You're listening to Jaime's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Jaime Cervetta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local, and our nature is just incredible right here in Arizona. I want to introduce you to Debbie Hendricks. She is with Just Roughin' It. And Debbie, we met so many years ago. Yeah. We did a local love together, and you're an Arizona native.
I am.
Tell me how you fell in love with nature here.
So it was early on, my first time at Grand Canyon National Park. I was 10 months on my dad's back.
10 months.
10 months old, yeah. So just from the rim, we didn't do any hiking. But my family's always been outdoorsy. We spent a lot of time picnicking in the superstitions, not on the greenbelt. We always were playing ball amongst the cacti.
Yeah.
So, we just did a lot of hiking. Superstitions was probably where I remember hiking the most as a youngster. So I have photos of me at Hieroglyphics Canyon, probably when I was 4 years old.
Oh.
So that was probably my first hiking that I can remember.
So you grew up in Arizona nature.
I did, yes.
Went to ASU.
I did.
Go Devils.
Yes.
And then went into business for yourself. Mm-hmm. Tell me about, you started doing tour guides, right?
Yes, so 2006, we started as a tour company. So strictly tours. We did hiking, backpacking, started with Grand Canyon and Havasupai. Then we ventured out into Yosemite in California, Olympic in Washington. But the primary was really Arizona-based. Mm-hmm. So we even did a lot in the superstitions as well.
What kind of tours are we talking about?
We're talking stuff on your back.
Oh,
you're carrying it.
I'm not going,
yeah,
right?
No.
I'll enjoy the photos.
We did do day hikes too,
yeah, okay.
But the majority of our trips were backpacking. So you had to truly want to get out there. Mm-hmm. But when you do carry it in, you get to spend a lot more time. And spending nights in nature, not just at a campground, but really out in the middle of kind of nowhere,
right.
It's a whole different experience.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Spending the night at the bottom of the Grand Canyon is a completely different experience versus hiking straight across. You miss a lot.
Really?
So yeah.
What are you missing? Because this is something I'm probably never going to hike down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon by myself.
So at night, you miss the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You miss just the views from the top, from the bottom. Actually, I'm saying that wrong.
Bottom to the top.
From
Isn't there a song like
yeah.
that?
The night skies.
Wow.
Quite honestly, there's a lot just to kind of experience. Everything looks different in the dark. So it's, it's just and you don't have to look at your feet the whole time, because when a lot of people do, say, rim to rim in a day, we've all probably heard, all hikers, I'm sure, have heard of it or have done it. You do spend a lot of time staring at your feet, so you really don't get to see anything. So if you get to cut it up in 3 or 4 days, you get a chance to stop and look around.
So you have one location. Tell me where Just Roughin' It location is.
Yeah, so the current location is on Shea in the 101.
Shea in the 101, or Pima, right?
The people who've been here a while
yes.
know Pima.
Yes.
Shea, the northwest corner of Shea in 101. We're in the Pima Crossing Shopping Center.
So you've been there as a retail and a center point for your hiking tours.
Yeah, so the retail store opened in 2017. Mm-hmm. We stopped doing tours in 2019. Okay. So it was not because of COVID. We actually stopped prior to that. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to focus solely on the retail end of it.
And it's really fun to go in there. You have so many interesting things that, as you know, a very novice canal hiker, does that count? Yeah. It's just so many different things that you would need on your journey for camping, etc. So tell me about the things that we'll find in your store.
So we have obviously national brands, because that's what brings people in. So we'll have the store, the bigger store, we'll call it the bigger store, the current store.
Yes,
that's going to have your camping, so people who are just going to a campground, so it'll have tents and camping gear for that. We also do have the backpacking gear, so the stuff that you would throw on the big backpack on your back. So those are your bigger items. Not as many people do that over your day hike items, so small day packs, hydration, bladders, headlamps, all the things we call it the 10 essentials. So the things you should always be carrying when you're hiking, even if you don't think you would need it.
Okay.
If you carry it and you didn't use it, that's usually a good thing. But, no one wants to use the first aid kit, but you should always have it. So we kind of call those the 10 essentials. So we always carry those things, and we do recommend people always have those things. So we'll have those in the store, and we help guide people in that respect. But we do have a lot of clothing. A lot of people think, oh, I don't want to wear hiking clothing. Hiking clothing is not tan.
It's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot. It
Yes.
can be very, not dressy, but it can look very casual. We call it trail to tavern.
Oh,
you could
yes.
go hiking in it. And
Now
you
I'm
could go have a
interested. I'm
beer,
back on board.
And no one will know that you were,
Right.
out hiking.
Yeah.
Unless you fell down, you're really dirty.
I feel like that's very Arizona,
Yeah.
don't you? I feel like
Absolutely.
that would be just what you wear on a Saturday, running errands.
Well,
You did
Exactly.
my neighborhood
I don't
walk.
want to call it athleisure wear. 'Cause,
Yeah.
It's not that.
It is
But
prepared
some of
for the trail.
brands, But some of the brands do have that look to them as well.
What brand do you like right now?
I don't know.
I could
We
use some
carry
trail to tavern clothes.
Cool, which is KUHL. It's a brand, family-owned brand out of Salt Lake City. That's probably one of our best sells, especially for the guys. But they've really done some good stuff for the girls too. So nice stretch. Actually, there is a brand of pants I'm bringing in that have cotton. They have an amazing stretch to them, but they don't look like stretchy denim.
Oh,
Which is because you get denim on and
Yeah.
they stretch and they still don't feel comfortable. These are amazing.
okay.
Yeah. So I can wear them in the summer. Here.
When are
I
those going to be
still-
in the shop?
They should be in probably in a couple weeks or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to try that on. I got to try that on.
But we have fun brands too, also national brands, but Kavu, Kavu.
Yeah. Who is that brand?
They are out of Seattle
Mm-hmm.
and they are also family owned, but they just do a lot of fun prints. So
Mm-hmm.
every summer I have cactus overalls. So they call it the succulents overalls. So
Yes.
overalls with just a bunch of succulents on them. They do a lot of Bigfoot.
Yes, we like him. We're still
Lot of
looking for that
days, I
guy.
know.
Where is
We
he?
have them in our store.
Oh, there he is. We got to come visit.
Jackalope shirts, so they definitely know us because we have Jackalope as our logo.
Yes.
And then we also try to carry a lot of local brands too. It's tough to find local brands for hiking, so
Yeah.
it usually ends up being clothing. But we have found a couple local brands that are now doing actual hiking, backpacking gear. And we also have a brand we're going to start bringing in. I cannot remember their name, but they do ultralight.
Oh.
So we just started working with them. So
Okay,
we're
shout out the local brands you know.
So the local Near Zero is the camping. We have Otter OTTR, which they do sun shirts
Oh.
and jackets, and then we do. So for kind of your graphic T-shirts and hats, we have Iconic Arizona. We'll sell Hijinks, State
Yes,
48s,
yes.
of course. Who else do we have? I'm sure there's Canyon Coolers, which is a competitor to Yeti. They're out of Flagstaff.
Oh, wow.
So they do some really nice coolers. So yeah, just off the top of my head, that's who I can think.
I mean, I'm making my holiday list
Yeah.
as you mentioned
And we
these
always
different
just try
names.
to find fun stuff.
Yeah,
So-
you have super fun stuff. If someone's outdoorsy, if they like to sit outside at the bonfire and have their dinner out there, that you'd find something for them there.
Well, that, and we even have people like, oh, I'm not a hiker. It's like you probably have a hiker in your family.
Yeah.
But we also have some kids things like games and books and things like that. But you'd probably find something just fun that you never thought of. So
Right.
it's not like you have to be a hiker to come to the store. And we are, and to your point, to just hiking the canal, it's still hiking. So we don't want to be exclusive. We're very inclusive.
Yes.
If you don't have to come in and have a bunch of miles under your belt to be able to relate to us. We want to get more people out there. So I'd like to see more new people,
Yeah,
to be honest.
novices roll into the door.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned the bigger store, the other store, because that means coming soon.
Yeah, it's a
you
second
have
store.
a new location.
So
Tell
our
me.
new location is going to be Shea and 32nd Street. It's more on 32nd Street. So probably the place to where I usually tell people it's by Bosa Donuts.
Love Bosa
I do
donuts.
too. And that's going to be very problematic.
Well, I'll tell you what I love
I
about
already
those.
bought 2 6 dozens and then we aren't even open yet.
Are you ready to go rogue with me to Bosa?
Yeah.
So I love getting the turkey sandwich, but they have a delicious turkey sandwich there.
Add there. See, and I don't think of that.
You get it wrapped in lettuce.
Okay.
You get it lettuce wrapped. Add everything. They've got this ranch mustard combination sauce they make every day there. Jalapeno, pickle, turkey, lettuce, tomato, onion. It is amazing. Go to Bosa and get the
yeah,
turkey sandwich lettuce wrapped.
Yeah, you just
Tell them
made,
I sent
you.
you.
Just made it worse.
And then one tiny little donut
And then
to
a
go.
donut. You have to have dessert.
Ah, that's hilarious. Okay, so we know where Bosa is
So it's
in
behind
Shaverhood.
Bosa. Yes,
Uh-huh.
so it's behind Bosa. So a little center that is family owned. Everything there are local owned businesses. So we are excited. So already we're not even there yet, and we just feel like there's just a really nice, strong community in that area. We've talked to people in our current store who do live over in that area, and they all know the Shaberhood.
Yeah,
so
it's poppin'.
It's exciting. Yeah,
and I grew up very Shaberhood adjacent, so I'm familiar. And then I did a local love over there recently at Shea Cheese. Shea Cheese.
Yes, Jenny's a friend of mine. Yeah.
So did she lead you to her neighborhood?
She did. Yes. So she told me when the space was coming vacant, and I found out about it before it was vacant. So was probably earlier than we wanted, but that's okay.
Yeah, things happen as they do, right?
Exactly.
And so you went to ASU. When did you meet Ray? Because Ray is your husband's
partner,
business partner.
Yeah. We met at Progressive Insurance.
Oh.
So he was in insurance for 14 years in claims adjusting, training, and then I was working in their fitness center. So they have a corporate fitness center. So I was working there. So he was taking classes, and I was one of the trainers.
So corporate America, you guys bumped into each other in the gym?
Yeah, I was. Yes. The story, right?
You corrected his form on something.
Yeah. We had a lot of discussion about, well, I'm not going to get a workout. It's like, okay.
And then you went outside.
and then we went outside, and then he discovered that.
Adventures. So did you lead him to the nature and the adventure tour business?
He already was a hiker.
Okay.
But he had never backpacked before, so I showed him how to backpack.
Oh wow,
and that was fun. We went to, actually, I think the first trip was Havasupai before everyone was going.
Oh wait, that's the first trip.
So my first time at Havasupai was probably '99. I don't even know if I paid, probably, but that's before.
I'm sure you did whatever was right.
But I think it's like $15.
Yeah.
It was not what it is now, and it was not crowded. So now it's just $400. But yeah, that was the first trip, was Havasupai, and there was a lot of discussion of, you don't need to take that much stuff. And I'll never forget well, you don't know how much I eat.
Oh. It was this early in the relationship?
Yeah, it was early enough, yeah. It's like, okay, apparently I don't. But of course, we came back with extra food.
Okay, well, you'd rather that than the other.
Well, we don't want to starve.
Right.
You know.
There's not like amenities down there. Right. Yeah. Ain't no room service at the Havasupai.
They're not going to bring the Indian tacos down, but you can go up and get them. So it's just fine.
And you really did start so young. You said at 10 months. At 11, was it 11 years old?
11 was Grand Canyon. So when I was 11, my first probably big hike was down to Indian Garden, but now it is called Havasupai Gardens in Grand Canyon National Park. Wow. So that would be along Bright Angel Trail.
And then you just picnics and family gatherings were always kind of outdoors. Yeah. Where did your grandparents lived near King's Ranch?
So my great grandparents used to come out from Minnesota every winter. So they were true snowbirds. They would come out from Minnesota and they would go to King's Ranch. Yeah. So those people who aren't familiar with King's Ranch, it's pretty much the Peralta Trail side of Superstitions. Okay. Which is now Gold Canyon as well.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So hieroglyphics over there. I used to hike there. But so they would spend their winter.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would winter
out here, and then take the RV out and play shuffleboard, because the King's Ranch just had a little clubhouse.
Yeah.
My great aunt used to own the Four Peaks Amethyst mine. But this is when I was much younger. So I never got to go up there, and I was young, and I didn't understand. So she'd have geodes that were up to my waist, and I was like, whatever.
It's just part of life.
Yeah. And
like Auntie with her weird rocks, right?
Christmas we get amethyst. I'm like, what is this?
Why do I keep getting the same thing? In
hindsight.
Yeah, always 2020, right? Did you get to crack them open, the amethyst, the geodes?
I had, yeah. We did.
And that was it is. I mean, it's still there.
It's
so unique. Yeah. Because I think you need to get in by helipad.
It was helicopter. Well, now they do tours and things. She didn't. She did not want people up there.
Yeah.
And the only way they were getting or down was by mule, or they could helicopter it.
Yeah.
But she would not have people come up willingly.
It was dangerous. I mean, it is. And probably then it was.
It's pretty rugged up there. Yeah. It still is very rugged up there. My mom has hopefully briefly, a funny story. When she went to ASU, she was sitting around just listening to some people talking about how they hiked up into the mine, in the Four Peaks. My mom was listening, and they talked about how this crazy old lady came out with her shotgun.
Like, I'm related to her.
It's pretty much like, oh, it's my aunt.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so you, back then, don't go up there without permission. And then she actually did force them to. Mine.
Oh. You're like, well, you're here now.
Here, yeah.
Get to work.
Yeah.
Put them to work. That's what you do. Since you are a hiking pro, I want to get some pro tips from you. We're going into the good part of this year.
Hopefully.
I mean, yes, hopefully.
Feels way too long off, but yeah.
Way too long and way too many numbers on that
Tell
7-day
April to
forecast.
Stop with the 110 plus.
What does Taylor Swift say? You need to calm down. Like Mother Nature needs to calm down. I want to go for my evening stroll, I like to call it, because I don't want to put any pressure.
At least
like,
night times are getting nicer.
Yeah, they're starting to. So give us some pro tips about some places. Shade is very important, and so maybe some trails that are beautiful but yet less wandered.
That's tough around the valley. So I tend to hike in the afternoons. I know it's hotter, but if you can figure out the position of the sun, obviously, and where you're hiking, you can get the shade of whatever mountains. So for the morning, a good example, which is trafficked, but it's more local, is Telegraph Pass in South Mountain. So that trail has shade in the morning. So it's not a bad one to hike. You still have to go early, but it's not awful because you are mostly shaded on your ascent. And then it starts to get sunny on your descent, but that's not as challenging. We like to do Bell Pass is tricky because you can get sun, but you get some amazing views as you're hiking down. So that's the benefit of hiking in the afternoon, is you do get the sunsets as long as you're hiking down trail facing west. So, and I personally can't tell you about sunrise because I'm not a morning person for hiking.
You knew that was going to be my next question. Best sunrise.
Best sunrise.
It's the one you never saw.
Hikes have the trail facing east.
Yes, there you go. Do the math, people.
Yeah, exactly. Just find your compass point east. Okay, that trail.
Yeah. What do you want to tell people who are just kind of getting started? They are thinking about maybe doing one of these hikes. I mean, Havasupai is a bucket list thing for so many people. I would love to do it, but the hike itself intimidates. I would like the Beyonce a tour where didn't she clear out the place and then helicopter in, shot a music video, and then got out of there. How do we make that happen? But what is something that maybe has some water and would be a decent novice hiker?
I would say a lot of people go up north, but then you get a lot more people. So everyone thinks Phoenicians are notorious for, I'm going north for it to be cooler.
Yeah.
We forget about southern Arizona. So southern Arizona has a lot of water. It's a little bit of a drive depending on where you go. One of my favorites that is great for all levels of hikers is Ramsey Canyon, which is more in the Sierra Vista area. So it's definitely a drive. You might want to spend the night. Just go to Bisbee.
Oh, I love
Bisbee.
Bisbee.
Spend the night in Bisbee and then hike Ramsey Canyon. So hit a couple nice small towns on the way. But a lot of birders go there, so birders tend to know about Ramsey Canyon because that corner of the state is where almost every migratory bird flies through. But it's a riparian area, there's a creek, and if you want some more challenging hikes, you can also hike up to some 9,000-foot peaks. So you can get a lot of hiking and a lot of different terrain and just experience. So if you're newer, just hike along the creek and check out some birds. If you're experienced, you still can do that and then just hike, get some elevation out of it. Some closer but water, still going south, would be Romero Canyon and Sabino Canyon. Both also, those are in the Santa Catalinas, so those are more the foothills. When you're in Tucson, northern Tucson would be more that area. So foothills of Tucson are
so that
beautiful.
may be even closer because Tucson is an hour and a half. It might be an hour to there.
Depending on where you are, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in Chandler, it's even closer.
Oh, look at that, 45. It's just shaving it off. That's what's so nice about the valley. We're so big. We are big.
So those are good ones. And then north, those people who must go north. Waterville Falls, a lot of people go to. And, of course, what am I trying to think of? Oh, good grief, this is crazy. It'll come to me.
Yes, it'll come to you.
It will.
Interrupt me.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, right in the middle. It's like,
yeah, there it is. And it happens all the time.
I'll call you at midnight when I remember.
I'll leave my ringer on, Debbie. Talk to me about. Oh, thank you.
Horton Creek.
Horton Creek.
Here's a huge.
And what do you like, Horton?
Horton's it's a nice water feature.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's where?
It's Payson area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Mogollon Rim.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if I've been there. I'm sure my parents. It sounds familiar.
Are you more of a Payson? Are you more of a Payson person?
I think my parents were very good about taking us all around and doing a lot of adventurous things. So I've seen a lot of things, but that was a long time ago, and I forget stuff. So it's nice to revisit, and I love the ones with water. There was one that
But of course, monsoon season. Do avoid the water hikes right now.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't seem like we've had a monsoon.
Well, my buddy Derek here in the newsroom, he had passes for Fossil Creek, and it got not washed out, but the risk of rain.
Huge,
yeah.
And there's a lot of, we are canyon country. So I think a lot of people forget that.
Well, I think people forget how hot we are and that they want to hike Camelback for the Instagram. They forget about the water risk and that the flooding happens so fast. Yeah. What do you want to tell the people who are trying to adventure around who don't understand, maybe they're not aware of the risks that are there?
Don't hike here in the summer. And actually I would just say don't hike in the summer, and just definitely try to avoid afternoons, because that's obviously usually when our storms come in. And it's just beware of it's an education. It's hard to say be aware of flash flooding areas. Well, if you're not here, you don't know that. You just go for water. So I would just, for those who aren't used to Arizona and our weather patterns and just the terrain, I would pretty much just avoid water anywhere from middle of June till maybe at the end of September, to be honest, because it can come at you fast. What just happened in Grand Canyon? Yeah, it's insane, and that's not even really a flash flood zone. So you'd think it would have gone down into the canyon, not into Tucson. Oh my gosh, I know, so crazy. I like to talk about the business side of things on this podcast. So I left you guys when you and Ray met in corporate America. Yes. How did you go into business on your own, and how did that continue to grow? Oh, we're crazy. So I was only in corporate for 4 years. He was in corporate for a while. He was getting his MBA, and we just said, hey, let's start a hiking business. Don't know how. So like a side business at that time. It was just a side business. So, and I've always been kind of a side business sort of person. Oh, really? Yeah. I've just never been a corporation person. So, it was more me, and then it just really built up pretty fast. So then he was able to quit his job and then just do all the guiding and everything full time. So it was, he and I were the primary guides, and then we started hiring people, got probably to the point where we had about 30 something people guiding and working for us, and then decided, we're done with that, because there's a lot always. The bigger you get, the harder it becomes too. And responsibilities and liabilities. Insurances, everything. And that always would go up, but it's hard to increase your prices accordingly. So we just probably had the most fun when it was just us, but it got hard too, because we would never see each other because we're always on separate tours, on separate trips. So but then, the retail end started when just the difficulties of running the guiding service became, it's just things that you have no control over. So even though retail's tough, guiding, you don't have control over government shutdowns. No. So national parks shut down when the government shuts down. You have, or even furloughs when you can't get to a budget. So those types of things can really derail a company, because you don't have any control over how it happens. You have to have contracts with every place you go. So there's a lot into it. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of fees. There's a lot of, your insurances are through the roof. Your workers' comp is through the roof. So there's just a lot of things that you have less control over. Weather. We talked about that. Or world pandemics. It's a lot of things that you just can't really control. I kind of like a little bit more control. You can't control people who hike or train just hard enough to get stuck at the bottom of Grand Canyon. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Which happened plenty of times. Now what? What happens then? They're our responsibility. We have to get them out. How? Throw them on your back? What are you doing? You carry their packs out, and you have to do a lot of pushing and prodding. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And waiting. And it could be an 11-hour day trying to get out of the bottom of the canyon. So those are, you definitely can't control
Right.
someone from Florida who may not also understand. So as much as we try to get them to understand that this is not flat.
Yes, it's advanced.
Yes, it is. And, the comments of when they're done, well, you didn't tell me it was going to be so hard.
Did you read the paperwork?
Yeah, so the Google.
Yes.
The Google will tell you.
Yes. Yes. So I also want to ask about the jump. When you made that jump into owning your own business, what did that look like? What would you tell other people who are looking at you saying, gosh, Debbie made it happen. How do we do this ourselves with whatever nature passion that they have?
The jump.
Yeah.
Can I remember that far back? I guess you just jump. I mean, it's just, you really, the guiding service end of it really was a trial by error, because there aren't a lot of businesses out there like that. So it was really you're just going from the ground up, trying to figure out how this all works. You learn a lot on the way. You learn a lot of, no, you're not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
Along the way.
Yeah.
Because there's not like this guide to, how to open a guide service. It's just, there aren't a lot. And we talk to people all the time, that sounds like fun. It is. But you can't just can't tell your friends, hey, I'm going to charge you $100 to go hike out and say the McDowell's. You have to have authorization and insurances. They do not like you just running a commercial enterprise on public lands.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is trying to learn that. But then once you figure that out, then you find out how much it costs to do it. So it really, that end of it was really just you're figuring it out. Now, once you figure it out, you do it the right way. But it was some kind of going, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops, we'll fix that.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. We'll get right on it.
Yeah.
We'll get right on it. What are you loving in Phoenix right now? What are you loving in Arizona right now?
Well, not the weather.
We know that. No one is.
I don't know what I'm loving right now. Just kind of seeing the changes. So yeah, it's really hard to get past that it's hot. I can't think of anything at the moment. I'm loving looking forward to when it's going to be hiking weather again. So
it's time to start planning.
It is the planning time.
Yeah, make some lists.
We are starting to get people back in the store. They're starting to think forward. It's like, there are people who really think it's not going to be 110 anymore.
Right.
Good.
I agree. I'm starting to think and plan for that time. Yeah. And then it's so funny how, we haven't had much rain here in the valley, but up north they've had a nice amount of rain and everything. Yeah. So it's lovely that just an hour and a half will get you to a different kind of climate here.
Any direction.
Yeah.
In the state, not just north, but south too.
It's so cool.
I guess what I'm loving about Arizona now is what I always love about Arizona is just the diversity in general. So that's always just kind of educating people in that, because we do get a lot of transplants and they all think Arizona is just hot. It's always hot. It's like, have you driven anywhere else?
Have you seen the pines?
Well, yeah. I mean, or pull out a map, pull out an Arizona highways, and it'll show you how diverse it is. Yeah. We have a couple hike books that are Arizona highways, or there's Phoenix Magazine has one. It's just here, this book has tons of hikes the entire state. Just look at the photographs and you'll see that the diversity in this entire state. It's not just the desert.
Yeah.
So
you're still guiding, just not
yes.
taking us
with a little bit. We're directing people to really good books and things like that, and good hikes. But yeah.
So just roughing it. You have the one location at Pima and Shea.
Yes,
We're saying for us old school folks, Shea and the 101 for you newbies here in town. And then you have a new location coming to the Shaberhood, 32 Shea. And you think that will be opening late?
We're hoping. I was gunning for September 1st. I am perfectly fine once I have product in the store, just opening the doors. I could be putting everything in inventory. Don't care.
Yeah,
people can
come on in and see the process.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'll have a register. If they want to buy something, they can buy it. So.
And this is really going to be a community spot. So you really want to play with the community.
We do. Yeah, we want. That's really what I'm wanting. Yeah, it's just kind of in going forward as we grow. That's probably what we're going to be looking at. Is just more what locations are more established and kind of just people who have roots.
Yeah.
And then just go and they're all hikers and understand Arizona too and appreciate it. So I don't mind educating people about it. But, when you are in a store like the one we have now that gets a lot of out-of-towners, there's always this conversation of, I don't know how you can live here. It's like, well, Why are you visiting?
You want to talk to the locals who are like, I love it. Yeah.
Instead of me having to convince people why it's so amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's like, well, I'm kind of tired of convincing people that it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be around people who already know that.
Yeah, I get it. Sometimes I'm like, how can you not see the beauty that we are? Even if it's hot, it's not snowy.
It's usually a conversation of, I'm from Colorado. Okay, cool. Go to Flagstaff. It looks very similar. Mm-hmm. But then I have to remind them, well, Sonoran Desert is nothing like it in the world. Mm-hmm. Only place you're going to see saguaro cacti is here or south. But you're not going to see it anywhere else. There's nothing like the Sonoran Desert anywhere.
Wow.
So you can't, there's no pine trees.
Yeah.
But you can see pine trees pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
And why'd you come to Phoenix in August? They should have Googled. They should have Googled that too.
There is that. Yeah. Why are you here right now? Well, even the winter. How can you handle the summers here? It's like, have you been to one?
Oh, yeah.
But I had a conversation with somebody once that said, I don't remember how it started, but he was talking about how he comes out every winter and it just started saying something about moving out here. He's like, oh, well, I like all 4 seasons. And me being kind of in one of those moods. No. It's like, well, obviously you don't because you spend your winters here.
Oh, that's hilarious. She's feisty, just roughing it. You're not sugarcoating over there.
That's right. We're to the point.
Yes. And you'll be well led and guided there. And I need to come see you and get some trail to tavern clothes for, the season.
Get you some overalls with some cactus on them.
I mean, I can't tell you the last time I wore overalls, but I never say a hard no. Debbie, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.